guys, this is Shellmaster here, bringing you a video. Today we're doing Live Deku, what's an SCP. So let's get to start. First thing, disclaimer first thing. Half of these SCP numbers, or, well, if I can't remember the name of it, or the number, I'll just concern them by name. Like SCP-682. Everyone loves them and stuff. I mean, I understand, people fucking torture them. If I got tortured and stuff like that, I was a big-ass fucking lizard, and people were trying to get information on me, I would fucking kill everybody in that fucking facility. And kill every single fucking human. I mean, that's going over the board. None of those other humans did shit. So, he's pretty racist. Just gonna say that to SCP-682 before he comes out of that fucking camera and just fucking snaps the shit out of me. Have to be really careful what I say. He can teleport anywhere to dimensions. Okay, good. I'm good, guys. Okay, good. So, first thing, or second thing, actually. Deku's SCP number is SCP-525. Or negative 525, actually. So, yeah. You're gonna say, what is Deku's abilities? Well, it's simple. Deku's SCP ability allows him to, well, you see these little pod things? He has 4 of them on his back. Mostly, well, on his back, he can summon different versions of himself from different timelines. Or you're gonna say, oh, this is just like Vampire Deku or some bullshit stuff. Yes, it is. But there's another thing. Mostly there's no limit how many you can summon. So you can summon like billions of them though, and make like an entire army. So yeah. I can't really find the guy who made this, or at least find his artwork, but I'll try to find it. Oh yeah, that person is stuck in the paper. So yeah. And that smiley face shit. And that red penis. Gay. Just had to say that myself. So yeah. So there will be an SCP for SCP-999 Deku. I'm at 939 Deku. Never do 999, because that seems really stupid of people. Because, well, what's the point? I mean, just gonna say this right now, there will never ever be a 999 Deku of SCP-999. So yeah, that means there's no time limit of SCP-999. So yeah. Let's get this started. Oh yeah, I forgot. Deku has a split personality. So we're starting off is, well, Deku is home. Mostly, Deku has this ability. And, well, the doctor's trying to figure out why the hell this kid has the ability, but, well, or at least has those weird things, but he doesn't have a quirk. Because a mutation quirk, you should at least have that little thing on his toes. So, yeah. Mostly, they tell Inko that they can mostly go now and stuff, because we'll just call you guys later. When the doctors are actually part of the SCP Foundation. So what they called a little task force over there. So yeah. Mostly it's night. Deku wakes up and it's fire stuff. So well, he's trying to look down and checks where the fire's starting at, and it's down in the living room. Mostly they started this to kill off Inko. So yeah, first thing guys, don't fucking go out for a fake bitch. That's fucked up. Second thing, you can get knocked the shell out by our SCP versions of Deku. So yeah, you're fucked. So yeah. Mostly, the heroes are there. They can't pull out the fire, because it's spraying more. Mostly, Deku tries to save his mom, but he sees his mom dead. He sees this and he's traumatized. Immediately, Deku's head hurts really badly. This is where the split personality kicks in. Deku smiles like mostly smiles. Really weirdly. He immediately gets his tentacles out and immediately punches one of the windows. Wait. He immediately jumps out and his tentacles are like holding him on the side of the house. He immediately climbs down out of the house and the heroes see this. Immediately they ask him, is his mom okay? He just says his mom is dead. So all the heroes feel bad for him, even Endeavor. Just gonna say that if Endeavor feels bad for you, you got something, okay? If Endeavor does not feel bad for you, he's a dick, but still. So yeah. So as the fire stops, though, the SCP Foundation is on one of their buildings. Mostly looking at camera sees them. They suppose Deku is an SCP because, well, if you don't have a fucking pinky and stuff bullshit, though, you really aren't, so you're classified as SCP. So yeah. Couldn't you just technically say some of these SCP could just be classified as a quirk, though, and stuff? Because, let's check to see. You could say, the play doctor could just be a guy with a quirk, technically, or some bullshit. But yeah. So yeah. There will technically be a way if Deku was SCP-049. So yeah. There will be a version of that. I mean, he really can't touch anybody, because then he'll kill them by accident. So yeah. Or maybe Orphan can have the ability to, like, mostly make Deku, like, only if it works with all 5 fingers. That'll be really interesting. So yeah. So, well, they put Deku in foster care, or at least in an orphanage. So when Deku is in the orphanage, mostly all the kids pick on him, because, well, he looks different. Mostly he has those little green things on his back, though. Mostly Deku actually had to go to Inko's funeral. And, well, the heroes were there too, and saying, "Yeah, I'm sorry," and stuff like that. Even Endeavor said he was sorry. But, well, mostly Deku was mostly holding all the anger for all the heroes and stuff. But that went to the split personality. So anytime Deku would feel anger, it goes to split personality. So yeah. You could say technically Deku's the good side, and, well, the split personality is the bad side. Wrong, if the meme was right there, though, stuff. If I actually had edited that, mostly you're wrong. Most of that split personality was created because the SCP Foundation killed Inko. If Inko never died, the split personality would have never been created. So yeah. Technically, the SCP Foundation just created a fucking serial killer that's gonna murder everybody. So yeah. By the way, guys, there will be a redo of Vampire Deku, because I felt like he was too overpowered too quickly. Or he was overpowered, but, like, I didn't do his story right, so yeah. I felt like maybe Deku seemed stupider or some bullshit. So yeah. So let's continue on. So, well, one bullies, and, well, in the orphanage, start picking on Deku. Grabbing on Deku's little green pouches things, though. I'm just not calling them sacks because that's disgusting and 30 million. If you thought about that in the comment section, though, and you said that, you would be so glad I have this fucking AK-47 right here, mostly a Nerf gun style warhead. And I have nuclear rocket shells, though, stuff. Imagine a bullet as a nuke. Each time a bullet would go off, immediately a nuke blows up. So, wars. Man, America's fucked up. When a nuke goes off, immediately a child is saved from the orphanage. So, send off 10 million nukes and we're done. We have to save them from North Korea. Yeah. By the way, guys, if you guys are going to move to China, please do not do that, because they have an iron grip on their, like, information stuff. It's a little stupid, though, stuff. China, if you are watching this, or at least the Chinese leader, fuck you. I'm being serious. Go fuck yourself. I understand how you can rule your country how you want to, but go fuck yourself. I bet any of those Chinese people in there would just immediately go to America and stay there, because America's way better. It actually mostly doesn't tell you everything, though, but still. I'm flicking you off while I'm speaking to you, by the way, China. Any characters, anyone who's from China and hears this, you know it's true. Mostly they do have a fucking iron grip on their fucking information and bullshit stuff. So yeah, I will never ever go to China. If I'm forced to go to China, bitch, you'll see what happens. I'm gonna drag to China, bitch, you'll see what happens. I'm not trying to be racist saying the Chinese people there. I'm just saying the person that's running China is a dick. Okay? Fuck you, and go to hell. So yeah, let's continue on. The hell? The hell? My brother. Sound like he fucking moaned. Jesus Christ. So yeah. So, well, immediately they're continuously doing this. Immediately, the split personality Deku kicks in. Immediately, his tentacles come out of his pouch thing and scare the kids. They all run away. The 3 of them. Immediately, his tentacles go back in there. So yeah, one of the kids did see this. Mostly the one rule at this orphanage is do not use your quirk. This guy's a little snitch. I'm gonna say this right now, go fuck yourself, snitches. Only time you should snitch on people is, like, saying that... Wait, yeah, actually, there is a rule at my school, actually. Mostly, everyone knows you snitch on somebody, though. Like, the cool kids or some bullshit, though, or a taller kid. You know you're gonna get fucked, though. He will figure out where you live, and he will beat the shit out of you. He won't kill you, but he'll beat the shit out of you. I know one problem. I'm tough enough because I pissed off everybody in my school, and they have beaten the shell out of me though, and I really don't give a fuck. Yeah, you're gonna say what the fuck when you do that and saying that? Well, I just want to see. I just like pissing people off. I just love doing that. It's fucking hilarious to me. Oh shit! It's like two girls. It's that thing 2165. I'm gonna search that later. Yeah. So well, immediately the guy tells on Deku, saying that well, he tells one of the guys who is running this orphanage, saying that well, Deku over there or Midori used his quirk and stuff, or his tentacles and stuff. So yeah. Immediately he asks Deku if he did that. He says yes, because those kids were picking on himself. He says that, well, yes, that was a wrong thing they did, but still, there is rules. So, well, in this orphanage, if you break a rule, you get hit. So he beats the shell out of Deku. So, well, some kids are seeing this, because they have been there longer. Immediately, some of the kids feel bad for Deku. Immediately, Deku's tentacles come out, and they are holding this guy, keeping him in the air. And he's smiling. Immediately the guy says that, what the hell are you smiling about, you disgusting kid? He says that, well, what would happen if I, well, broke your neck? Or some other shit, though. Because I know one thing only. If you weren't high and mighty on that fucking high horse you have there, mostly if we were taller than you, though, and stronger, we would have beat the shit out of you already. But we don't, because we're kids. Now then, get off your fucking high horse and stop trying to fuck with me, okay? He shakes his head down and saying that, well, never mind. I don't want you alive, actually. So he immediately rips off the guy's arm with one of his tentacles. All the kids see this. Immediately they start looking at Deku and he's saying, what? Does any of you else want this anyway? Immediately all of them shake their heads no. He says, good. So, well, he drops the guy. And he says that next time when you want to bully a kid, though, look at yourself next time. Because next time I'm not going to be easy next time. Because I'm not using my full power of my quirk. Because if I did, you would have been not dead that quick. So the guy's on the ground, like, trying to get his arm and stuff. Immediately Deku says, oh, you want your hand back? And he grabs it. Saying that, nah, I think it will be better in, well, null space. So immediately his tentacles open up and open a portal. This is, well, let's see, which one is this? Sonic Forces Infinite Deku. He really stands out, and, well, he immediately gets absorbed by Deku. And he says that, you see this on my chest. So immediately the Phantom Ruby forms. He says this is the Phantom Ruby. And saying that, well, I think your arm deserves not a dick, though. So immediately he sends his arm to null space, where his place he can never get back. He's bleeding out. And, well, he tells everybody in the orphanage that if they try to snitch on me again, you'll become that guy, okay? All of them shake their heads. And he says, good. So, well, the area he was getting assaulted at, though, he immediately walks out of there. Immediately, well, mostly two of the women that are working at the orphanage see this. And they run there and get the guy. And, well, they get 911 and stuff. When they're doing this, the SCP Foundation came, replacing, well, taking the signal from mostly 911. They say, mostly they did get this guy patched up and stuff. So, well, they said that, well, let's check what happened here exactly. Saying that, they asked, the people that are asking her said that, do you know what happened here? And immediately they're looking at Deku, like, mostly some of them are looking at Deku, and he just, like, moves his mouth saying that, remember what I said. And nearly all of them shake their head no. They just say, we found him like that, though. And mostly he was beating up Deku, and that's it. That's what they call him around there. So, well, the SCP Foundation used a type of gas to mostly make all the kids knocked out except Deku. Because they put a lot of mass on him. So, well, they erased everyone's memories about Deku, this guy, and stuff. They killed the guy who got his arm ripped off. They knock out Deku and will take him through their van stuff. When Deku wakes up, he is in a little, musty truck. He immediately says, "Where the hell am I exactly?" He says that you are, being detained by the SCP Foundation, kid. Mostly you're an anomaly. Or a monster, exactly. Saying that monsters don't get to work with society, exactly. And, we've been keeping an eye on you anyway. You know how your mom died? And he says, yeah. So what was it about anyway? Mostly, yeah. He says, we caused that, exactly. Immediately, Deku's side immediately comes. He starts smiling. And he says that, what? And he says, yes, we killed your mom. And he starts saying that we burned down your house, we killed your mom in cold blood, and we didn't really give a shit. Because monsters don't deserve anybody. Immediately, Deku's tentacles come out. He immediately says that you know you're dead, right? You're in this type of road where if you flip over, you're okay. So Deku opens a portal. Immediately the guy says, oh, SCP. And immediately shows up his partner over there. Immediately has this little device. Deku is wearing a shock collar, saying that if you try to do that, though, and take a different version or try to open that portal and try to escape, we'll shock you. Deku starts laughing, saying that, do you think a stupid shock collar is going to hurt me? And, he says it's not an ordinary shock collar, kid. Mostly it's the type of shock collar we use on our kid SCPs. Deku says SCPs. And he's saying, yes, you're an SCP, an anomaly, a monster, will be said. Saying that you're going to a place where monsters get tested on and experimented on. Mostly checking what makes you tick. So yeah. Deku says, fuck you. So his tentacles grab mostly. He's still fused with his Phantom Ruby version of himself. So immediately he gets, the Goku Deku version of himself. The Goku Deku is way taller than him and older. He says, wait, where the hell am I? He immediately sees himself and saying, wait, you're me? And he explains that just touch, mostly grab my hand. So he does. Immediately he gives him all the information he needs to know. He says, huh. So if I'm getting this right, I'm a different version of yourself from a different timeline. And he says, yes. And these guys over here killed your mom. Saying yes. And he says, you know you guys are dicks, right? And he says, just be quiet. And he's looking back there and saying, wait, there's two SCPs? And, mostly says, no, I'm not an SCP, you idiot. He asks the other Deku, what should I do exactly? Saying that I don't want to kill him because I'm not going to kill him. He says, fine, I'll kill them. He just says that, just mostly made this truck flip over. So immediately, the Goku version of Deku immediately just punches the side of it and immediately flips over. None of the guards were hurt. So when he breaks out there, though, and stuff, and immediately the Goku Deku says that, could you at least send me back to my own timeline? He says, sure. He says that, I'll be using you a lot sometime. And he's saying, yeah, I know. Mostly just don't use my power for, mostly you can use my power for anything you want, except, not killing anybody exactly. If you do have revenge on people, then maybe you can kill some few people if they're bad, but don't kill random civilians. Okay? So he says, fine. So Deku's tentacles open up and open a portal for him. Immediately, the Goku version of himself goes to the warp gate, or the portal, and saying that, I'll see you later, man. And he says, me too. Or it says, yeah. Some shit. So the the portal closes. Immediately, Deku's walking up to the side of the door, and his tentacles immediately grab the side door and immediately rip it off. He immediately grabs those two people. He says that, you know how long I fucking wanted to kill the person who killed my mom? Immediately, as both of them are saying, please show us mercy and stuff, and he says, Baby Yoda would always say of a Devil Artemis, mercy's for the weak. By the way, Devil Artemis, I used your reference, haha, Devil Artemis. Immediately, he snaps those two people's necks. Mostly what Deku, the shock collar he's wearing, is a tracker, so the SCP Foundation knows where he is. They mostly classify Deku as a pellet or a new species of SCPs, reality warpers. Mostly they have the ability to mess around with time or reality. Deku can do the exact same thing as they say. So Deku's thinking, what the hell should he do? He thinks that he can go to a different timeline though and just live there for a while, but he's thinking that's stupid, because what's the point? His mom's dead. And he's thinking that maybe I should try to find the stupid SCP Foundation. And, well, Deku opens a portal. So if his tentacles grab, well, let's check see which one does he actually want to grab. He grabs Nematrix Deku. Nematrix Deku says, wait, where the hell am I exactly? I should be somewhere exactly. He says that I am you, from a different timeline. Mostly, just touch my hand. So he does. He immediately gets all the information he knows. He says the exact same thing as Goku, or Goku Deku. He's saying that, let me get this right, I'm you from a different timeline stuff. He's saying, yes, these fucker over here you killed, mostly killed your mom, or our mom, and stuff, and saying yes. Deku asks him, does he have his mom? He says, yeah, I do, actually. He asks him, does the SCP Foundation exist in his timeline? He says, yeah, but they're mostly this weird, it's mostly this little internet reference thing. Mostly this little YouTube channel called Newscape Pro just made this, they mostly have this weird article thing and stuff. He's thinking that maybe each different timeline there's a different reference to different timelines. Like Vampire Deku, in different timelines there's vampire movies. In his timeline there's no vampire movies and stuff. There might be vampire play shows and stuff, but nothing else. So yeah. He asks that Deku, does he know anything about the SCP Foundation? He says that, well, mostly these SCPs are mostly monsters. Mostly SCP-096 is a tall humanoid future with white face and stuff. Mostly you don't want to stare in its eyes. Mostly it will find you and try to kill you. And mostly you see that collar on him. He says, maybe I should remove that collar. He says, no, I want to see what will happen though and stuff. He says, fine. Mostly he says that, well, I'll be using you sometime. He says, okay. Mostly just send me back to my world. And he says that, wait, who the hell are you dating exactly? He says, well, I can't really say that, I think. Because, well, you're younger than me and might fuck up the timeline stuff. And he says that maybe I should check to see something. He opens a portal, and immediately Alien X comes through. And Deadpool Deku. He immediately sees both of them and says, wait, you're SCP Deku. And he says, who? He said that this timeline's called SCP Deku. Or what if Deku was an SCP? Saying that this reality or timelines don't exist anyway. It's created by this guy in his fucking room, though, has 290 subscribers on his YouTube channel, mostly just making these what-ifs for views and stuff. Immediately Deku says to the Alien X version stuff, is he crazy or something? He's saying no. He mostly breaks the fourth wall. He's Deadpool Deku. He says, yep, I am. He says that you must be SCP Deku. Huh. He says that, well, he tells that Nematrix Deku he cannot tell him anything about his future. That Deku. Because he explains that, well, the timelines are different. He's older than you, though. And stuff. Mostly, he tells him that, well, this Nematrix he has on his hand, mostly he grabs and says that, well, if I try to rip it off, as so, immediately shocks Deku. Saying that if he tries to take it off at all, it will shock him. So, yeah. So Deku says that, wait, shouldn't Scourge be on there? And he says, give it a second. And, well, Scourge appears in this reality. And, well, so yeah. Immediately, well, Alien X had to fix that a little bit. So yeah, because mostly timeline shit. So, well, he explains that, well, mostly he can't tell you anything about your future, okay? So Deku understands. He says, okay then. He says another thing, mostly keep an eye on those SCP guys, though. So yeah. He says that, well, Deadpool Deku shouldn't be on our way going to all the other different versions of Deku. So he says, yeah, let's check see on Bill's site for Deku. And he says, no, I already erased that timeline. He says, wait, what? He's saying I had to kill that timeline because, well, the power he was gaining, he could have infected our timeline, so. And, well, Alien X's job is mostly not allowing that to happen. Mostly had to wipe that timeline from the face of what if channels. So yeah. So he says, okay then. So he tells Deku just mostly do whatever the fuck you want stuff, and well, mostly you do you. And by the way, if they try to torture you out there or do some shit there, mostly just open those warp gates and allow me to come. So I'll just kill every single one of them. So yeah. So well, mostly the Navitrix Deku, Alien X Deku, and Deadpool Deku go back to the warp gates. There are two of them. Alien X Deku and Deadpool Deku were just going across the timeline and stuff. So yeah. Deku is just, well, trying to weigh somebody down. Nothing happens. And he's thinking, fuck this. So he, well, opens a warp gate. Never mind. Wait, he opens a portal to, well, let me get this right. Mostly, all for one Deku. Then he comes through, and he sees himself and says, wait, did I go back through time or something? He says, no. Listen here, right. Do not tell me anything in your future, okay? Because it might fuck up this timeline, okay? He says, okay. Saying that, okay, I had to visit two people, actually. Deadpool, Deku, and he says, oh, not that fuck. And he says, wait, you met him? Says, yeah, you went to my timeline, though. And he says, huh. Wait, why the fuck you said that? He's saying that, well, I think you shouldn't really be saying that, kid, saying fuck, though, but I really don't care, because I'm a villain. Mostly, well, he saved one of my girlfriends. And I'm in debt with him, though. He saved my timeline for something that I might have accidentally done. I'm at all for one. Deku, simp. Had to say that because he has multiple girlfriends. He has Froppy as a girlfriend. All the girls in Class 1A as a girlfriend, by the way. So, yeah. He just says that, well, what do you want exactly? Saying that, well, I just want to, well, absorb you. He's saying, what? Saying that, okay, this is how the process works. You turn into a little soul. My tentacles eat you. I gain your powers and your personality for a while. You can see everything I do and stuff. And, well, I create a little reality stuff for you in my head. And he's saying, so it's like a split personality. He's saying, yes, it is. So, wait, do you have a split personality? He says, yes, I actually do. You're splitting the split personality as we speak. The other part of myself is, well, in my head. He can be seen every single thing. Yeah. He says, sure. That portal closes. Immediately, all for one Deku says that, so how the fuck is this supposed to work? He just immediately gets his tentacles and whoop, it opens. All for one Deku turns into a little soul and eats it. He gained all of his quirks. So he's using his quirk to move really fast. So yeah. He's not on his, well, island, or at least place. He's in America. And he's thinking, wait. And he uses one of one Deku's quirks. He really can see everything across the entire globe. He sees that he's not in his little town, or at least city. He's in America. He should get deported, by the way, guys. Just gotta say that right there. I just like these jokes a little bit. Offensive jokes are fucking hilarious, so yeah. He's saying, fuck. Immediately when he's doing this, though, two cars come where his location's at. Immediately it's the SCP Foundation. They brought a lot of people there. It's immediately a mobile task force of 20 guards. They're pointing guns at Deku. He immediately sees this and says, who the hell are you exactly? He's saying, we're the SCP Foundation, kid, and you mostly have a shot caller on you. He says that, well, you have two options. Get in the fucking van and stuff and follow. Mostly will take you to your new home. And, well, or new place. Or we'll shock you and then tranquilize you and take you there by force. Deku starts laughing. He says that, well, if you had to say, mostly puts his hand up to one of the guards. He's using one of his tentacles to mostly speak to him eye to eye. He puts up his hand, and immediately the guard's face blows up. Immediately the rest of the guards see this. He says that you guys have... I actually want to ask you one question. Do you guys want to be at a funeral home or in 6 feet under? Immediately one of the guards say that we need mostly this guy. He's mostly a guy who takes children SCP and allows them to come to the SCP Foundation. He comes out of the little car and says, "Wait a second, please don't shoot him exactly." Immediately he's like the guy who's supposed to be watching all these guard stuff. Because some of the guards do fuck around with SCP children, mostly SCP children. He immediately tells the SCP, "Well, kid, listen. You're an SCP. You could hurt people, like him." And he says that, "Okay, first thing, don't speak to me like I'm a child, or a kid, or a baby, or some bullshit, though." He says that, "Well, you're speaking to the split personality of Azuka Midoriya. So, well, you can speak to me like a grown fucking adult, you dumbass. Second thing, stop fucking following me, because I just want to go back to my home, become a pro hero, make a lot of money, have wife, children, and that's fucking it. Okay? But nope, I got pulled in fucking America or some fucking place we're at, and I'm away from my fucking home. Now you have 2 questions. I actually have a few questions for you first thing. Number 1, why the fuck would you bring to me a fucking America? Second thing, I should be deported. Third thing, third thing actually, did you not see what happened to that other guard's face? That can happen to you. So yeah. Fourth thing, I'm gonna take off this fucking collar." So the guy says, "You might not want to do that." And he says, "Screw you." So he starts trying to rip it off, but immediately the collar starts strangling Deku. He immediately says, "What the hell is this exactly?" He says that, "Well, this collar is designed to, mostly, if you try to take it off, it'll get tighter around your neck until it suffocates you from air." He says that won't work. And he says, "Why not?" Saying that, "I can tell what type of quirk you have. And his eyes look like this Sharingan. So he said that your quirk is, most of your quirk is, like stern night eyes. Mostly you have the ability to, see into somebody's future, but it's a little cheaper. You can see before they can attack, like the Sword of Sanctuary from Lego Ninjago. Am I right?" He's merely ghost-facing, saying, "How the fuck do you know that?" Saying that, a different version of myself. Wait, I don't actually want to tell you that. And he says, "Fuck you." He merely the guy who tells him to just shoot him stuff. So they shoot him with tranquilizer darts. Tranquilizer darts all across Deku's body. Deku seems a little tipsy and stuff, and he says that, "What the fuck?" And, he gets his tentacles, and he tries to attack one of the guards. They continuously shooting more at him until the tentacles stop moving and goes back into the pouch. Deku falls on the ground, and he's knocked out. I think this is going to end off here. So yeah, I actually like this though. We will continue on with this series, so yeah. Meme of the week, by the way, guys. Come on. Oh, Gravity. Gravity Falls. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Oh, great. I knew it. Ochaku was him. So Ochaku's the main character in the best series of Gravity Falls. So wait. Dipple's technically gay. Because he's dating Wendy. That is actually Ochaku. Oh, shit. So yeah, this has been the Shadow Master. Goodbye, guys.